Life is full of distractions, negativity, and unnecessary burdens that weigh you down. The wisdom of Stoic philosophy teaches us to remove what does not serve us and focus on what truly matters. By quietly eliminating these toxic elements from your life, you create space for clarity, inner peace, and true fulfillment. Here are 10 things you should let go of without making a fuss. 1. Seeking validation from others. Living for the approval of others is a silent prison that many do not realize they are trapped in. When you rely on external validation to feel worthy, you give away control over your own happiness. The Stoics believed that true confidence comes from within, not from how others perceive you. They taught that a wise person does not seek applause but instead acts according to their values, regardless of outside opinions. One of the biggest dangers of seeking validation is that it makes you dependent on others' reactions. If people praise you, you feel good. If they criticize you, you feel crushed. This creates a cycle where your self-esteem is at the mercy of others, leaving you emotionally vulnerable. The reality is that no matter what you do, people will always have opinions. Some will support you, and others will judge you unfairly. The key to peace is realizing that their opinions do not define you. When you let go of the need for approval, you gain the freedom to live authentically. You stop making decisions based on fear of rejection and start acting based on what truly matters to you. Instead of constantly wondering what others think, you focus on your own values and growth. This shift allows you to build genuine self-confidence, the kind that is not shaken by praise or criticism. Stoicism teaches that the only validation you need is the one you give yourself. You measure your worth not by how others see you but by how closely you live according to your principles. Instead of seeking approval, seek self-respect. Instead of chasing compliments, chase personal excellence. When you master this mindset, you will no longer need validation, because you will already know your own worth. 2. Holding on to grudges. Holding on to grudges is like carrying a heavy weight that only drains your energy and peace of mind. When you allow resentment to take root, you give power to the very people or situations that hurt you. Instead of freeing yourself from the past, you remain trapped in a cycle of anger and bitterness. The Stoics believed that true strength lies in mastering your emotions, not being controlled by them. They taught that resentment does not harm the one who wronged you, it only poisons your own mind. A grudge is an emotional wound that refuses to heal because you keep reopening it. The more you dwell on past betrayals, the more you allow those moments to define your present. You might replay conversations in your head, fantasize about revenge, or hope for an apology that may never come. This mental loop does not change the past, nor does it give you justice. It only wastes your time and energy, preventing you from focusing on what truly matters. Forgiveness in Stoicism is not about excusing wrongdoings or allowing people to hurt you again. It is about freeing yourself from emotional chains that serve no purpose. It means recognizing that anger does not solve anything and that letting go does not mean weakness but wisdom. When you release resentment, you make space for inner peace and clarity. You stop letting past pain dictate your future happiness. True power lies in choosing where to direct your energy. Instead of feeding negativity, use that energy to grow, to become stronger, and to move forward with a clear mind. By letting go of grudges, you reclaim control over your emotions and your life. You shift from being a prisoner of your past to being the master of your future. 3. Wasting time on meaningless gossip. Engaging in meaningless gossip is one of the biggest distractions that can pull you away from a life of purpose and self-mastery. When you spend time talking about others, dissecting their choices, and indulging in rumors, you divert valuable energy away from your own growth. Gossip creates an illusion of importance, making you feel included or entertained. But in reality, it adds nothing of value to your life. The Stoics warned against idle talk because it weakens the mind and fuels negativity rather than wisdom. Gossip often thrives on speculation, exaggeration, and misinterpretation. It can spread misinformation, harm reputations, and create unnecessary conflicts. More importantly, it keeps your focus on external distractions instead of internal discipline. Every moment spent discussing the lives of others is a moment not spent improving yourself. If you find yourself constantly drawn into conversations about other people's mistakes, failures, or personal matters, ask yourself whether this truly serves your well-being. When you eliminate gossip, you cultivate a sharper, more disciplined mind. You train yourself to focus on meaningful discussions, deep ideas, and productive actions. You also gain the respect of those around you, as people recognize that you do not waste time tearing others down. Instead of engaging in trivial chatter, invest in conversations that challenge your thinking, expand your knowledge, and bring genuine insight. A strong and wise person does not speak about others aimlessly. They speak with intention, choose their words carefully, and seek conversations that enrich their mind. By letting go of meaningless gossip, you free yourself from unnecessary drama and cultivate a life centered on wisdom, integrity, and true personal growth. 4. Fear of change. Fear of change is one of the greatest obstacles to personal growth and fulfillment. It keeps you trapped in situations that no longer serve you, holding onto routines, relationships, or beliefs that prevent you from evolving. Change is inevitable, yet many resist it because of uncertainty and discomfort. The mind clings to what is familiar, even when it is harmful, because stepping into the unknown feels risky. However, avoiding change does not prevent difficulties. It only delays the growth necessary to overcome them. Stoic philosophy teaches that resisting change is a futile battle. Life is in a constant state of movement, and those who refuse to adapt will find themselves left behind. Fear of change often stems from attachment to control, yet true strength comes from embracing uncertainty with a calm and steady mind. Instead of viewing change as a threat, consider it an opportunity for transformation. Every shift, no matter how uncomfortable, carries lessons that shape you into a wiser and more resilient individual. Letting go of this fear means trusting yourself to handle new challenges. It means accepting that endings are often necessary for new beginnings. Growth requires discomfort, and those who understand this truth are the ones who achieve success and inner peace. When you release the fear of change, you gain the freedom to explore, evolve, and build a life aligned with your highest values. Eliminating this fear does not mean recklessly embracing change without thought. It means recognizing that adaptability is strength and that the unknown is not something to be feared but something to be faced with courage. By letting go of resistance, you open yourself to new opportunities, deeper wisdom, and a life that moves forward rather than staying stagnant. 5. Toxic relationships. Toxic relationships drain your energy, distort your self-worth, and prevent you from becoming the best version of yourself. They come in many forms, from manipulative partners to controlling friends and even family members who bring negativity into your life. These relationships often make you feel emotionally exhausted, anxious, or unworthy. They create cycles of guilt, dependency, and self-doubt that keep you stuck in unhealthy patterns. One of the biggest dangers of toxic relationships is that they gradually wear down your confidence and sense of self. You might find yourself constantly justifying someone's behavior, walking on eggshells to avoid conflict, or sacrificing your own happiness just to keep the peace. The longer you stay, the harder it becomes to recognize the damage being done. Stoic wisdom teaches that you are responsible for protecting your inner peace. And part of that responsibility is removing toxic influences from your life. Letting go of toxic relationships is not easy, especially when emotions or history are involved. However, staying in them only leads to more pain and prevents you from experiencing genuine connections built on trust, respect, and mutual support. Cutting ties does not mean you are heartless or unforgiving. It means you value yourself enough to step away from what is harming you. Eliminating toxic relationships requires courage and self-respect. It means setting firm boundaries, prioritizing your well-being, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. It also requires self-reflection to ensure that you do not continue attracting or tolerating harmful dynamics. When you remove toxicity from your life, you make space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships that align with your values and personal growth. No one deserves to be trapped in an environment that diminishes their happiness and self-worth. By freeing yourself from toxic relationships, you reclaim your energy, mental clarity, and emotional strength. It is a necessary step in living a life of peace, wisdom, and true fulfillment. 6. Overconsumption of social media. Social media has become a powerful tool for connection, information, and entertainment, but excessive use can have damaging effects on your mental well-being, productivity, and overall happiness. The endless scrolling, comparison traps, and constant notifications can create a cycle of distraction and dissatisfaction that pulls you away from living in the present moment. One of the biggest dangers of social media overconsumption is the way it distorts reality. People often showcase only the best parts of their lives, leading you to compare your behind-the-scenes struggles with someone else's highlight reel. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, self-doubt, and even anxiety. Instead of appreciating your own journey, you might find yourself chasing an illusion of perfection that does not truly exist. Beyond comparison, excessive social media use can rob you of valuable time. Hours spent scrolling could be used for personal growth, meaningful conversations, or productive activities that actually improve your life. The more time you spend online, the less time you invest in real-world relationships, deep thinking, and self-improvement. Stoic philosophy teaches that our time and attention are some of our most precious resources, and wasting them on mindless consumption weakens our ability to focus on what truly matters. Social media can also manipulate your emotions through algorithms designed to keep you engaged. Outrage, envy, and fear are frequently amplified, keeping you trapped in a cycle of emotional reactions rather than mindful responses. Instead of cultivating inner peace and emotional resilience, you may find yourself easily influenced by external noise, constantly seeking validation, or reacting impulsively to online debates that add no real value to your life. To regain control, it is essential to set boundaries with social media. Limiting screen time, turning off unnecessary notifications, and being intentional about what content you consume can help you break free from the cycle of distraction. Prioritizing real-life experiences, engaging in deep conversations, and practicing mindfulness will allow you to reconnect with yourself and those around you. Eliminating overconsumption of social media does not mean cutting it out entirely. It means using it as a tool rather than allowing it to control you. By being mindful of how and why you engage with it, you free yourself from unnecessary distractions and regain focus on what truly brings fulfillment and purpose to your life. 7. Excuses and complaints. Excuses and complaints may seem harmless in the moment, but over time, they become destructive habits that weaken your mindset and prevent you from achieving real growth. Making excuses shifts responsibility away from yourself, while constant complaining reinforces negativity and victimhood. Both of these behaviors drain your energy, reduce your sense of control, and keep you stuck in the same unproductive patterns. Excuses are often used to justify inaction or failure. They give a temporary sense of relief by shifting blame onto external circumstances. But in reality, they hold you back from progress. Whether it is blaming bad luck, lack of time, or other people, making excuses prevents you from facing challenges head-on and developing resilience. The truth is, life will always present obstacles, and the strongest individuals are those who take ownership of their actions instead of searching for reasons to avoid responsibility. Complaints, on the other hand, reinforce a cycle of negativity. When you constantly focus on what is wrong, you train your mind to look for more problems rather than solutions. Complaining may feel like an outlet for frustration, but it rarely leads to constructive change. Instead, it often drags others down with you, creating an environment filled with negativity. Over time, this can damage relationships, lower motivation, and limit your ability to see opportunities. Stoic philosophy teaches that external events are beyond our control, but our reactions to them are within our power. By eliminating excuses and complaints, you shift your mindset from one of helplessness to one of action. Instead of saying, "I cannot do this because of my circumstances," you start asking, "What can I do with what I have?" Instead of complaining about challenges, you learn to embrace them as opportunities for growth. Breaking free from excuses and complaints requires self-awareness and discipline. Recognize when you are making an excuse or complaining, and replace it with action. If something is truly within your control, take steps to improve it. If it is not, accept it and move forward with a solution-focused mindset. Surround yourself with people who encourage accountability and growth rather than those who reinforce negativity. By eliminating excuses and complaints, you regain control over your life. You stop wasting time dwelling on problems and start focusing on solutions. You cultivate a mindset of resilience, responsibility, and self-improvement. In the end, this shift empowers you to create the life you truly want, rather than settling for a life shaped by limitations and negativity. 8. The need to always be right. The need to always be right is a subtle but powerful barrier to growth. Inner peace, and strong relationships. It comes from a place of ego, where proving yourself correct becomes more important than learning, understanding, or maintaining harmony with others. When you are driven by the desire to always be right, you close yourself off to different perspectives, resist constructive criticism, and often create unnecessary conflict. Over time, this mindset can lead to frustration, isolation, and an inability to adapt to life's inevitable changes. At its core, the need to always be right stems from insecurity and fear of being perceived as weak or uninformed. Many people believe that admitting a mistake or lack of knowledge is a sign of failure, when in reality, it is one of the greatest strengths. Growth happens when you acknowledge gaps in your understanding and remain open to new information. Wisdom is not about always having the right answer, but about knowing when to listen, when to learn, and when to let go of the need to win an argument. Constantly insisting on being right damages relationships because it turns conversations into battles rather than opportunities for connection. When your focus is on proving yourself correct, you may disregard other people's emotions, dismiss their experiences, or fail to see the bigger picture. This can make others feel unheard, disrespected, or even manipulated. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect, the willingness to compromise, and the ability to agree to disagree when necessary. In Stoic philosophy, the goal is not to dominate discussions or force others to accept your views, but to cultivate wisdom through understanding. The most intelligent and confident individuals do not need to prove themselves at every opportunity. They remain open-minded, embrace uncertainty, and understand that being wrong is not a weakness but a step toward self-improvement. They recognize that learning is a lifelong process and that knowledge is ever-evolving. Letting go of the need to always be right requires self-awareness and humility. It means listening with the intent to understand rather than to respond. It means being comfortable with changing your mind when presented with better evidence. It means valuing truth and growth over personal pride. Instead of seeing disagreements as battles to be won, view them as opportunities to expand your perspective. Instead of arguing for the sake of proving a point, learn to ask questions, seek clarity, and appreciate the wisdom that others bring. By eliminating the need to always be right, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and conflict. You build deeper connections with others based on respect and understanding. You develop a mindset that is focused on learning rather than defending your ego. In the end, the person who truly wins in life is not the one who always proves themselves right, but the one who continues to grow, adapt, and seek wisdom. 9. Comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others is one of the most destructive habits that can quietly drain your happiness and self-worth. When you constantly measure your value based on someone else's success, appearance, or lifestyle, you give away your power and allow external factors to dictate your confidence. This leads to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and the belief that you are never enough. The truth is, everyone has their own unique journey. You cannot compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. What you see on social media or in real life is often just a highlight reel, not the full story. You don't see the struggles, failures, or sacrifices that person has endured. Instead of focusing on others, shift your attention to your own growth. Celebrate your small wins, set goals that align with your values, and measure your progress based on your own standards, not society's expectations. A meaningful life is not about being better than someone else, but about becoming the best version of yourself. Stop looking sideways to validate your worth. When you embrace your own path, you will find true confidence and peace within. 10. Unnecessary material attachments. Holding on to unnecessary material attachments can quietly weigh you down and prevent you from experiencing true peace and freedom. Many people tie their sense of self-worth to possessions, believing that having more will make them happier or more respected. However, this attachment often leads to a never-ending cycle of chasing after the next best thing, only to feel empty once the excitement fades. Material things are temporary, and their value diminishes over time. The latest gadgets, luxury items, or even an overflowing wardrobe may bring short-term pleasure, but they do not provide lasting fulfillment. When you place too much importance on possessions, you risk neglecting the things that truly matter, such as meaningful relationships, personal growth, and inner peace. True wealth is not about accumulating more but about needing less. When you detach yourself from the belief that happiness comes from external things, you gain a greater sense of freedom. Focus on experiences over possessions. Invest in knowledge, and cultivate a mindset of gratitude for what you already have. The less you depend on material things for validation, the more space you create for real happiness and fulfillment in life.